The Bucks are losing. Porzingis is getting ejected. Our pets' heads are falling off. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. Michael Bolton.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com and at Yahoo Sports Australia. And you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_bball and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. We're here to preview day 3 of the NBA playoffs. I'm recording this now. The Milwaukee Bucks on day 2 lost the Orlando Magic in game 1. What a massive upset that was, while the Miami Heat just got over the top of the Indiana Pacers. And now we're going to look ahead to game 3 with all of those series one game in. So let's, day 3, sorry, not game 3. Let's have a look at those games right now. The first one we look at, the Raptors and the Nets, they comprehensively won this one. The Raptors in game 1, never really in doubt, and they are favored here by 11 points. The total is 226.5. You worry about the blowout nature of this, except for the Raptors, they don't really limit their guys' minutes. So we're going to get a lot of playing time. Kyle Lowry, for example, played 38 minutes last game. And we're looking at DraftKings pricing to start things off here. Lowry's at 8,000. I reckon that might be just a little bit too high for him. You got Fred VanVleet at 7,600, which I would still prefer. He dropped 60 in game 1. He won't be that good, but he'll still be pretty good. While Tyler Johnson at 4,000. Big price drop for Jono because he was pretty poor in game 1 as they started Garrett Temple. I don't mind him as a GPP option. Chiozza, Martin, Terrence Davis, no. Shooting guard, Stormer Norman Powell at 4,300. More tournaments for me. He's just hasn't been as impactful in the bubble as what we would have hoped. And then you got Smoke and Joe Harris at 5,000. I really like that for cash. And there's great value in Harris there. While Karis LeVert at 8,200. 47 points in game 1. He's the only player keeping the Nets really in it. So at 8,200, I think he looks like a really strong option. Garrett Temple at 46. Not bad, but not exciting. At small forward, the Jedi, OG Anunoby.
Hello there.
But what about scarves?
OG.
Balenciaga
Stop,
ones.
OG. You better stop, OG.
He's at 4,400 on Anunoby. That's a $900 price rise because he had 27 points in 34 minutes. The minutes are going to be fine for Anunoby. I think still more of a tournament guy. While Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot, 40 points in game 1. He's averaging 36 in his last 3. He's getting a lot of shots. He looks really good, and he's at 4,700. Do I fall for the Luwawu-Cabarrot trap here? I actually think I might, because he's getting a lot of opportunities. He's playing pretty well. He's playing better than Tyler Johnson. He's looking like the player that I thought he could be when he was drafted, and that's encouraging. For the power forwards or big men in general, Big Marc Gasol's at 4,000. He only had 19 points in 21 minutes. I think he beats that 4,000 really comfortably in this one. So I'm big on Marc Gasol here. Pascal Siakam at 7,500. He's just underwhelming at this point. Like, he's not a tournament option. He's a low-grade cash guy. I think he can be better, but it's been just a long stretch of him being adequate. And that's not really getting me all that excited. Jarrett Allen's at 71. Love that for Jarrett. While Rowdy Rodion's Kurucs and Serge Ibaka. Kurucs, no. Ibaka, 5,700. He put up 38 points in game 1. That's obviously a really, really strong return. Am I pumped to use him? Probably not. I would rather Gasol and Jarrett Allen. If we look at it on FanDuel, Gasol and Luwawu-Cabarrot really stand out to me. Anunoby looks pretty good. I think Jarrett Allen at 72 is good. I'm way out on Siakam over there. LeVert at 8,400 is high, but we know he's got that upside. And they've bumped VanVleet all the way up to 7,700. I would rather probably take Lowry in that case at 8,000 versus the 7,700 of Fred VanVleet over on the old FanDuel. Guys, if you're at home, which most of us are, you're always going to be sitting on the couch and going, geez, I really feel like eating pizza. I really want some Thai. Well, with DoorDash, that is the app that you need. DoorDash is the app that brings the food that you're craving right now right to your door. Ordering is easy. Open the DoorDash app, choose what you want to eat, and your food will be left safely outside your door with the new contactless delivery drop-off setting. With over 300,000 partners in the US, Puerto Rico, Canada, and Australia, you can support your local go-tos or choose from your favorite national restaurants like Chipotle, Wendy's, and the Cheesecake Factory. I wish I could get the Cheesecake Factory delivered here. I'm a fan for one of their key lime cheesecakes at the moment. Many of your favorite local restaurants are still open for delivery. Just open the DoorDash app, select your favorite local restaurant, and your food will be left at your door. DoorDash deliveries are now contactless to keep communities that we operate in safe. Right now, our listeners can get $5 off and zero delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app. Enter code LOCKEDONNBA. That's $5 off and zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code LOCKEDONNBA. Don't forget, the code is LOCKEDONNBA for $5 off your first order with DoorDash. All right, let us move on now to the second game. It's the Utah Jazz and the Denver Nuggets. Still no Mike Conley. He's back in the bubble, but he's got his quarantine period. The Nuggets won the first game in overtime. They are favored here by 4, and their total is 217.5. No Gary Harris, no Farton, Will Barton again, so we'll get Porter and Craig as the starters. Michael Porter was pretty poor in that first game. Defensively, he was benched down the stretch, and that's always going to be the issue with him. And we've seen, since Jamal Murray has come back, Porter's influence has been limited, because he's not going to that guy who's just getting every single shot possible. And he's struggling, not struggling to fit in, but he's just not quite the same guy that we saw early on in the bubble. At point guard, Jordy Clarkson's at 4,700. I really like that. Cash and tournaments for him. They started Jawan Morgan for some God knows reason without Conley there, but it was Clarkson that got the big minutes, and Moutier did nothing because he is terrible. Monty Morris at 3,700 was really, really rock solid, and I expect he's going to get, with Gary Harris and Barton out again, some pretty decent chunks of minutes, so I like him a lot at 3,700. The Blue Arrow, Eche Homo himself, Jamal Murray, the headmaster, so many nicknames. 7,200 for Murray. Love this one. He dropped 59 in game 1. I think he's at least good for 35 in this one, so really good value. PJ Dozier, no thanks. And the Donovan Mitchell, is he good?
He's Don. He's good.
He's at 9,200 now because he dropped a whopping 81 points. Now, it's safe to say he won't do that again. Will he be able to live up to 9,200 to 46, 47 point guy? Well, he historically, when he plays as a point guard, his fantasy production goes up. So that is in his favor. Can he be a 48, 49 point guy? I'm a little worried. I think I would still consider him, but I wouldn't be as high on him as I was previously. Joe Ingles at 5,600. Love this one for Ingles. He had 37 game 1. That's still a really, really low price for Jingles. So I'm in on him. Torrey Craig, I'm not. Small forward Royce O'Neal, 3,700. Really only 14 points in game 1. And after a strong start to the bubble, his last few have been a little bit down. I do like him as a real tournament puntish sort of a guy, though. While Mickey Porter at 7,000, I'm less enthused about Porter at $7,000, given how he's been playing and given the way that Murray is going and limiting his touches. Paul Millsap, 4,300. We can probably do better. Nikola Jokic at 9,700. Absolute lock to me. Love that one. While the big Frenchman, the Stifle Tower.
Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert.
He's at 7,400. I think there's really strong cash value in Gobert, but I'm not really sure that he's got that massive tournament upside. Jawan Morgan as a starter, hey, 15 points, 3,200, not far off where he needs to be. I'm not even super convinced they start him again. While Jeremy Grant at 4,600, absolute rock solid cash floor value. Tony Bradley, Mason Plumlee. The opposite of that on FanDuel, Clarkson at 51 looks good. Jokic I like as well. I like O'Neal. Jeremy Grant at 47 looks pretty good, as does Monty Morris at 39 and Ingles at 5,500. Don Mitchell's at 8,200, so a lot more palatable over on FanDuel than what he is on DraftKings at this stage. Game 2 in the Philadelphia-Boston series. The Celtics get the win, but they are going to be without Gordon Hayward in this one, who's out for 4 weeks with a grade 3 ankle sprain, and Jaylen Brown is also dealing with a quad injury. Now, Brown is listed as probable, but that might change things a little bit here in this one. Marcus Smart will most likely start in place of Gordon Hayward. He's at 5,600. I think he was shit in game 1. He had 8 points, but when he starts, he generally plays better. I'll probably only look at him as a tournament guy, while Kemba at 6,800. Usage is going to go up for Kemba, for Tatum, and for Jaylen. 6,800 for Kemba is, I think it's worth looking at for sure. Alec Burks at 4,600. Love what he's been doing, getting so many shots without Simmons there. That looks like a really strong cash option. Shake Milton and Brad Wanamaker. They're not ones that we care about. Joshua Richardson's at 5,100. I'm okay with it. I'm not massively confident, but I'm okay with it. While the painter Matisse Thybulle's getting a lot of minutes. He played over 30, but he's at 3,400, and he doesn't really put up the big numbers. Not for me. Jaylen Brown at 7,500. I'm in on that one. He's going to take up Gordon Hayward's slack, so that's a big one for me. While Furkan Korkmaz had 0.75 points in 7 minutes. So safe to say That's not good. At small forward, Tatum at 9,000. Absolutely love Tatum at 9,000. He dropped 58 in game one. He's going to get much usage again. He's got to be a 50-point guy, I would imagine. Love him. Or Toby Harris at 7,700. Just if you want to spend $7,700 on the most underwhelming option you can, then maybe Tobias Harris is the guy you need to look at. For the big men, Joel Embiid, 9,900. Lock him in for 50. He's got a great matchup against Boston. There's no way he doesn't get 50 here, so he looks strong. The Rock DJ, Rob Williams at minimum salary, only be a tournament guy in case he chimes in with a couple of blocks, while Vanilla Tice at 47, hate the matchup, hate the play. Horford's at 6,700, and that too is just way too expensive. While Prison Mike Scott, Shemi Ojeleye, Grant Williams, Enes Kanter, they're right down the bottom of the pool in this one. Next up, we look at the, what team is it? We're looking at the FanDuel prices here. Smart is at 56. I love Embiid. Probably one of the best options over on FanDuel, 9,300. Kemba's at 6,900. Giggity. Awesome. Alec Burks, love him at 41 as well. While the 5,500 for Al Horford is more in play, it makes him more tournament valuable. And 87 for Tatum looks absolutely sensational, as does 7,000 for Jaylen Brown. Guys, you are trying to get in shape. It's hard. We're in quarantine. In Melbourne here, gyms are closed. But you know a great way of doing that is by finding healthy snacks and healthy protein bars. And Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes just like a candy bar. Built Bar is back, even more deliciouser. 18 flavors, 6 new flavors: cherry barcia, cookies and cream, caramel brownie, lemon almond cheesecake. Love a lemon cheesecake. Carrot cake, apple almond crisp to go along with their 12 original flavors. All bars are covered in 100% chocolate, and they are soft and easy to chew. They are great for the health conscious guy. Low calorie, low sugar, high protein, and high fiber. For example, their new cherry barcia bar, 17 grams of protein, 130 calories, and just 4 grams of sugar and 4 grams of net carbs. And while supplies last, they have a free cooler with purchase. This won't last very long, so get in quick at Built Bar. Go to BuiltBar.com, use the promo code LOCKEDON, and you'll get $10 off your first order. Use that promo code LOCKEDON for $10 off at BuiltBar.com. All right, let's now flip it over. Take a look at the last game of the day. We are looking at the Dallas Mavericks and the Clippers. Kristaps Porzingis. He was ejected in game one of this series. I don't think that'll necessarily be the case here, so this maybe evens things up. The Clippers are 7-point favorites. The total 285 would be high. 228 and a half. We saw low minutes from Montrezl Harrell and Patrick Beverley. They will start to ramp up in this one. At point guard, Beverley's at 3,500. Yeah, nah, I don't mind it. He had 20 points in game one. I think there's some value there. If he plays 25 minutes, he'll beat that number. Lou Williams is at 5,300. Love that for cash as well. While Luka Doncic at 11,000. 66 points in game one. You can't go wrong with using Luka. You can go wrong with using Reggie Jackson, so don't do it. At shooting guard, Seth Curry's at 3,600, only for tournaments. He came off the bench. He still played 30 minutes, but only really for tournaments here for me with Seth Curry. Well, as for Porzingis, we'll talk about him in a sec, but he is questionable. If he is out, that helps Seth Curry a little bit more, I believe. Timmy Hardaway's at 5,300. I'd only really consider him strongly if Porzingis did happen to be out. I don't think he will be, but there is a possibility there. And then at small forward, you got Finney Smith at 4,300. We can do better. Paul George at 86. I think he's too high. And the fun guy, Kawhi Leonard.
I'm a fun guy.
Leonard's at 10,000. I'd be happy to spend 10,000. I'd rather spend 11,000 on Doncic, but I'd be happy to spend 10,000 on Kawhi. While Marcus Morris at 4,800. Really strong game one. 37 points there. I think at 4,500, he makes a little bit of sense to use in this one. At the big men spots, you got Maxi Kleber at 3,600. Played 34 minutes, only had 11 points, but I like his opportunity, especially if Porzingis is out. That makes him a tournament guy. While the table, Montrezl Harrell, just 15 minutes and 9 points, only for tournaments there. He will play more than that, and it is a good matchup for him, but he's not quite ready yet. Porzingis at 8,900. I'd be happy to get back on that, assuming he plays. Well, Zubac's at 4,500. It's always risky because we don't know the minute split between him and Harrell. As I've said many times, I think Zubats is a better fit with this team than what Harrell is, so I'd hope they continue to give him 24, 25 minutes. It just doesn't appear to be the case. JaMychal Green and Boban, look, Boban could start if Porzingis is out. I think he would get absolutely roasted by the Clippers, though, and he would not last very long in that scenario. That'll do it. Guys, for me today, don't forget, subscribe Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on YouTube. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.